Hello, second graders. It's Miss Widman. Today I am going to teach you how to write dollars and cents. So, you have been working on using money for the past few weeks. And today, I'm going to get a fancy color of my pen here. I'm going to teach you how to write with that money. That is what I'm going to teach you today. So, for example, if Miss Widman had $400 in her purse, the way you would write that is by first writing a dollar sign and then writing the amount, 400. Now, if Miss Widman had $20 in her purse, the same thing. You would first write the dollar sign and then the amount. Then, if I opened up my little coin part of my wallet and I found 35 cents, I would write that just a little bit differently. First, I would write 35 and then I would write the cent sign, and the cent sign is a C with a line through it. And if I kept digging around and I found 15 more cents, I would draw a 15 and then the cent sign after it. So this is what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about writing the dollar sign and the cent sign. Let's get started.
Stop. Pause this video and go get a piece of paper so you can practice with me. Go get a piece of paper.
Now let's do our dollars. These are all the dollar bills that exist in the United States money. So down here at the bottom, we have $1. So first, now that we're writing with dollars, we need to write our dollar sign and then $1. You should be practicing with me on your piece of paper. Okay, now I'm going to go this way. So we're going to find, oh look, we stopped at the $2 bill. I'm going to write my dollar sign, then $2. I'm going to keep going up and we've got our $10 bill. Dollar sign and then a 10. You can tell how much a dollar is by looking at the little number in the corner. So I'm going to find, oh my goodness, that is so much money. This is a $50 bill. I wrote my dollar sign first, then the 50. Now let's go this way. This is the big buckaroo right here. This is our $100 bill. Even though that is so way much more money than $1 right here, we still write the dollar sign and then the value, 100. Now here is the $20 bill, dollar sign and a 20. And here's the $5 bill, dollar sign and a 5. So when we work with coins, remember, with coins we use the cent sign, but with dollars we use the dollar sign. This is a dollar page. Now let's look at some different values of money and see if we can write them. Let's look at these coins together. Now I want you to think, on this page, will we be using the dollar sign or the cent sign? I want you to think about it just for 2 seconds, dollar or cent. If you said the cent sign, you're totally right. Because we are using coins, we're going to use the cent sign. If you ever get confused about which sign to use, I want you to remember this. When we spell cents, it has a C in it, which means we use the C sign, the cent sign. So I'm going to erase this and let's count the money that we have. So over here, I'm going to start. I've got a quarter. We know that a quarter is worth 25 cents. And then right here, I've got 1 dime, 2 dimes, 3 dimes. And if I added those together, it would be 10 plus 10 plus 10. And I can just count 10, 20, 30. That would be 30 cents. And then I've got these pennies right here. I've got 1 penny, 2 penny, 3 pennies, 4 pennies. So that means I've got 4 cents. So altogether, I need to add 25 plus 30 plus 4 to get the total amount on this page. There are a lot of different ways I can add these, But the way that makes the most sense in Miss Whitman's brain is to stack my 10s and my 1s. So I stacked the 10s in 25 on top of the 10s in 30. And then the last thing I need to stack is the 4 for the 4 pennies, because I'm adding 25 cents, 30 cents, and 4 cents all together. So now I'm just going to add my 10s and add my 1s. So if I split this down the middle, I can add 5 plus 0 plus 4. And that's actually a ghost 0 right there. So 5 plus 4 is 9 cents. And then 20 cents plus 30 cents plus 0 cents is 50 cents. So all together on this piece of paper, I have 59 cents. Now there's one thing that I want to talk to you about before I move on. I'm going to erase some of the math that I've done. Miss Whitman just added all of these together by stacking 10s and 1s, but that is not the only way to solve this problem. If you wanted to do something different, you could say 25, you could say 25 plus 30 plus 4 and add things differently. You could take the 2 and the 5 here and know that if you added that together, it would be 50 cents. And then you could take the 5 and the 4 down here and knew that if you added it would be 9 cents. And then you could combine both of those, this 50 and this 9, to be 59 cents. You can add in any way that makes sense to your brain. But the most important thing for you to remember is that when you write cents, the sign goes at the end of the number and it is a C with a line through it. Let's practice again. Okay, here's another page for us to practice. I'm going to start over here with the quarters. I know that a quarter is 25 cents. So I have 25 and 25 cents over here. Okay, now if you know your doubles, we know that 25 plus 25 is 50 whole cents. So my quarters together, this one plus this one, equals 50 cents. Now let's move on to our dimes. For our dimes, I've got one right here and one right here. I know that each of these dimes is worth 10 cents. 10 cents. So 10 plus 10 is 20. And then over here we've got 2 pennies. We've got 1 penny, 2 penny, which is 2 cents. Now all I need to do is add 50 plus 20 plus 2. Another way you could do this is by drawing 10s and 1s. 50 is the same thing as 5 10s. So I could draw 5 10 blocks. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. That's the same thing. And then 20 is worth the same thing as 2 10 blocks. So 2 dimes is 20 cents, and we could show 20 by drawing 2 10 blocks. Now, if I get over to pennies, pennies are only worth 1 cent. So then I would need to draw 2 1s. 1 penny, 2 penny. Then what I could do is add all of these together. I could count all of these up. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 71, 72. So I know all together I have 72 cents. And I wanted to make sure that I wrote my cent sign after the number. And I did that here and here and here and here and here and here and here because I'm working with coins, and coins use the cent sign. All right, let's move on to dollars. Here is a page for us to practice writing our dollar sign with dollars. Right here, I've got a $5 bill and another $5 bill and then a $1 bill. I want to add these together to know how much money I really have on this page. 5 plus 5 I know is $10. Now notice we switched to our dollar bills. So I wrote my dollar sign first and then the number. And then down here I've got one more dollar to add to it. So I wrote that wrong. One more dollar to add to it. So I wrote my dollar sign, then the dollar amount. Then I can add 10 plus 1, and I know that is $11. So I'll write my dollar sign first and then 11 to find out I've got $11 on this page. Let's try another one. Let's practice this question together. This question says, Ruby has 1 quarter. Sailor has 1 nickel. How much money do Ruby and Sailor have altogether? This is still a money problem, but it's a little bit different because it's a word problem. Now, word problems we can totally do. All we need to do is help our brains look for the important information. So I'm going to read this again, and I'm going to circle and underline important information. Ruby has 1 quarter. I circled the number 1 because it's a number, and quarter because I know that 1 quarter is equal to 25 cents. And I think I'm going to need that information to solve the problem. Let's keep reading. Sailor has 1 nickel. Wow, that's awesome information because I know 1 nickel equals 5 cents. Now, here is the last part of the question that is super important. It says, how much money do Ruby and Sailor have all together? These words all together are super important. They're super, super duper important because they tell me that we are going to be doing addition. We're going to be adding the 2 numbers together because we're going to combine Ruby's quarter and Sailor's nickel and figure out how much these numbers equal when we add them together. So let's give it a try. Let me get some space for us out here. Erase, erase, erase. Okay, so we are adding. We are going to add Ruby's 1 quarter, which is 25 cents, to Sailor's 1 nickel, which is 5 cents. So we're adding 25 plus 5. Now, we can see that 5 plus 5 here is actually going to make a new 10. It's going to turn into 10 cents. So I'm going to write this problem in a different way so that I can think about it just a little bit better. So I'm going to have 25 cents plus 5 cents. Now, if I take these 2 5s and add them together, it will be... And now, if I take these 2 5s and add them together, it will be 10 cents. Then, if I take this 20 and bring it down here, I've got 20 cents plus 10 cents. 20 plus 10, I know, is 30 cents. Now, I had to make sure this entire time I was working that I was writing the cent sign after the value. And I did that in my answer. I wrote the number first and then the cent sign. Let's try this problem together. This problem says Ryder had $23. He gave $10 to Camden. How much money does Ryder have left? Now this problem is a little bit different. We need to go back and circle and underline the important information. So first I see that Ryder had $23 and then he gave $10 away to Camden. How much did he give? He gave $10. Now, the last part of this question says, how much money does Ryder have left? So he started with $23 and then he gave away $10. So we're actually going to subtract this time. Anytime you see the words gave away or how much do they have left, you are going to be doing a subtraction problem. So he had 23 and then he gave 10 away to Camden. There are several ways that we can do this problem. The one that makes the most sense to Miss Widman is what I do. I draw 23 first. 10, 20, 1, 2, 3. And my job here is to take away 10. Well, that's super easy because I can cross out a 10 stick and then I can count what's left over. I have 10, 11, 12, $13 left over. Now remember, we're talking about dollars, so we need to use the dollar sign. Okay, boys and girls, here is a review before you get started on some problems. Remember that when you use dollars, you're going to use the dollar sign. Even if you have $1,000 or if you have $2. It doesn't matter how big it is. You always write the sign first and then the number. And then when you're writing with cents, you use the cent sign, which is a C and a dash through it. So if you have 75 cents, you would write 75, then cents. If you have 32 cents, you would write 32 and then the cent sign. After this slide, you're going to do some practice questions. If you get stuck, come back and watch this video. Thanks for watching.